1344. A famine has reached Anhui Province in central China. A 16-year-old boy named Zhu Yuanzhang buries his parents with his bare hands. No coffins, no ceremony. A neighbor gives him enough land for a grave. He buries his father, his mother, 2 brothers. He has nothing. No food, no family, no status, no future. 24 years later, he sits on the dragon throne in Nanjing as the Hongwu Emperor, the first ruler of the Ming dynasty, ruler of the largest country on earth. No one in 3,000 years of Chinese imperial history started lower or rose higher. But here is what the story usually doesn't tell you. The same man who remembered what it was like to starve went on to execute more of his own officials than almost any emperor in Chinese history. He killed the people who helped him rise. He destroyed people who were loyal to him. He built a dynasty and a machinery of fear to protect it. The question historians argue about is whether the poverty made him a great ruler, a monster, or both. Stay with me, because the answer is more complicated than any rags to riches story suggests. With nothing and no one, Zhu Yuanzhang made the only choice that would keep him alive. He walked to the Huangjue temple and asked to become a novice monk. They accepted him. For several years he swept floors, rang bells, and begged on behalf of the monastery. Then the monastery ran out of food too. The abbot sent the monks out into the world to beg alone. Zhu Yuanzhang wandered through famine-struck Anhui and Jiangsu for several years. He learned the roads. He learned the rhythms of desperation. He learned what people with nothing will do to survive. Because he was doing it. When he returned to the monastery in his early 20s, he had seen more of real China than most officials would see in a lifetime. He had seen what desperation looked like from the inside. When the rebellion came, that knowledge became his most dangerous weapon. China in the 1340s and 1350s was in collapse. The Yuan dynasty, Mongol rulers who had controlled China for nearly a century, was failing. Floods, famine, and a plague swept through the country. Rebellions erupted everywhere. The most important of them was the Red Turban movement, a millenarian Buddhist uprising that combined religion with anti-Mongol politics. In 1352, Zhu Yuanzhang joined a Red Turban force commanded by a man named Guo Zixing. He was 24. He was illiterate. He was, by all accounts, physically imposing, large, with a distinctive scarred face that he never hid, and that later became famous in portraiture. He rose fast. He was smarter than the people around him. He was more disciplined. He married Guo Zixing's adopted daughter. When Guo died, Zhu Yuanzhang was the obvious successor. He rose fast inside the rebellion, but the competition to become emperor wasn't against the Yuan dynasty. It was against the other rebels first, and those battles nearly ended him. Here is what most histories simplify. Zhu Yuanzhang was not the only rebel. China in the 1350s and 1360s had multiple competing rebel forces, each controlling different regions. Chen Yuliang controlled the Yangtze River basin with a larger army. Zhang Shicheng controlled the wealthy Jiangsu Delta. Zhu Yuanzhang fought both of them before he ever faced the Yuan dynasty. The decisive battle was the Battle of Lake Poyang in 1363, one of the largest naval battles in pre-modern history. Chen Yuliang's fleet outnumbered Zhu's. Zhu won through a combination of tactics and the good fortune of a wind shift that sent Chen's fire ships the wrong direction. Chen was killed. Zhang Shicheng surrendered a few years later. Now Zhu Yuanzhang faced the Yuan. He defeated his rivals. He overthrew the Mongols. He became emperor. And then he became something his supporters had not planned for. In 1368, Zhu Yuanzhang's forces captured Beijing. The last Yuan emperor fled north to the Mongolian steppes. Zhu Yuanzhang declared the Ming dynasty, Ming meaning brilliant, and took the reign title Hongwu. He was 40 years old. He now governed a country of perhaps 60 million people with no administrative experience and no formal education. What he did next was not what you might expect. He governed. He governed hard, obsessively, and personally. He worked 16-hour days. He read every memorial submitted to his government. He rebuilt schools and the examination system. He implemented agricultural reforms that stabilized food production. He rebuilt the Great Wall. He was, by measurable outcomes, extremely effective. And then there was the other thing he did. Zhu Yuanzhang was terrified of the people who had helped him. He had come from nothing. He had seen what betrayal looked like, what poverty looked like, what humans did when desperate. He trusted almost no one, and as he aged, he trusted fewer and fewer. He executed the Chancellor Hu Weiyong in 1380 and used the case to abolish the chancellorship entirely, centralizing all power in his own hands. He accused Hu of conspiracy and killed not just Hu, but approximately 30,000 people connected to him. He then executed the General Lan Yu in 1393 under similar circumstances. More tens of thousands killed. He abolished the institutions that might have moderated him. He killed the officials who might have advised restraint. By the end, he was governing alone, in a state of perpetual suspicion. Both things were true at the same time. Which brings us to the question the historians cannot resolve. Here is what is simultaneously true about Zhu Yuanzhang. He was the only person in Chinese history who rose from beggar to emperor. His agricultural policies fed millions. The examination system he rebuilt created a governing class that ran China for centuries. The Ming dynasty lasted 276 years. He also executed more people than almost any Chinese emperor in history. By conservative estimates, more than 100,000 officials and their families in political purges. He built something that lasted. He destroyed many of the people who helped him build it. The peasant who survived by understanding cruelty became, eventually, a ruler who expressed power through cruelty. Whether this was inevitable, or whether a different man would have found a different path, is a question historians do not agree on. Zhu Yuanzhang was born with nothing. He buried his family. He begged. He swept monastery floors. He joined a rebellion. He defeated 3 rival armies. He overthrew a dynasty. He built another. He then spent 30 years killing the people around him. The Ming dynasty he founded is remembered for its porcelain, its literature, its naval expeditions, and its eventual collapse under bureaucratic paralysis. Here is the question. Can someone who rises from genuine poverty to genuine power ever stop being afraid? Or does the memory of having nothing make the fear of losing everything permanent? This is the dragon throne. We cover the men who came from nothing, built empires, and couldn't survive their own success. subscribe. New episode every week.